Can you sell your script without an agent or representation? Absolutely, yes. The general question that I get all the time, I was trying to avoid it because I hear it so much, and I'm sure you've probably heard it too, is, how do I need an agent or manager? How do I get one? I don't want to go too far into that because I've answered it so many times. But can you sell your script without an agent or representation? Absolutely. You do not need an agent or manager. You should have an attorney, some form of an entertainment lawyer. If you have some kind of deal come across your desk, ask some friends. Do you know an attorney that might be able to look at this contract or whatever? Because you need someone who is going to be able to read between the legal lines. But you don't need somebody representing you to sell a script. And really, in a way, you will save that 10% by not having to pay a rep. But if you were to get a project set up on your own, just through cold outreach, which does work, agents and managers are going to come to you. And that's always that position of strength. So I would try to get your work out there first and foremost, long before you're trying to get an agent or a manager. You do not need an agent or a manager right away in the early going of your career. You just don't. And they probably aren't going to take you on anyway. They want people who are experienced. They want people who are going to make them money. So you can absolutely sell a script without having representation. Let's see. MGS is saying, I missed the first 45 minutes. Did we or will we talk about getting representation or a manager? I just talked about that. Cold outreach can work. I will just make it a little bit more specific to the current atmosphere of the industry. You will be hard pressed to get a meeting or receive consideration by a manager, especially an agent right now, because of everything that's going on in the industry. We had a very long writer's strike. During that long period of time, and still current time, there's this backlog of projects that production companies and studios and streamers have to focus on. They've put money into those projects and they have not been able to launch yet. And so what managers and agents are going up against is selling new material or selling new writers because there are no takers yet. So the industry is focused on current business first and foremost. They have to take care of all of that, which totally makes sense. It's their investment. They have to do that. So an agent or a manager may not be looking for a brand new writer right now. You never know. So it doesn't hurt to do a cold outreach email to someone. The best thing you can do with a cold outreach email is to just ask them, would you consider me and my material right now? Show that you're aware of what's going on in the industry. Don't just send the material. Don't just send a list of log lines. Don't send this long list of accolades. It doesn't have to be a formal email. Unlike the publishing industry, book publishing, they are old school formality approach to cover letter, email. It's a whole other skill. And I've worked in that, and it's difficult. And I've reached out to 30 different publishers and agents, and I was turned down by all of them. And I eventually just said, screw it, I'm going to publish this book on my own. But it's a whole other thing. In the film industry, if you want to reach out to a manager, or especially a manager, I would go to a manager first. Don't worry about an agent yet if you haven't sold anything. And just ask them, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I have, a few projects under my belt. I've done relatively well in contests, or I've done really well. And I feel like I'm ready to, for representation. Are you considering new clients right now? Just leave it at that for now. They'll appreciate that because it's easy to read the email and it's a yes or a no type of response for them. Don't give them this whole rundown of your life and backstory and a list of projects. And here are the 17 attachments. Then here's my pitch deck. That's, 2.8 gigabytes. It's unnecessary. They will delete the email because you have to think what's going on the other side of that screen. They're sitting there with so much work that they're trying to figure out because they have to pay their bills. And so they're going to be focusing on their current clients. What can I do to make them money so I make money and keep my job, or at least continue the career that I currently have? A new random writer coming in is not going to be top of mind, especially right now. So you just keep that in mind. It doesn't mean there are no managers considering new clients right now. If you have some huge project that that is now, was just optioned by somebody, or you have business on the table for a script, then yeah, you might want to reach out to somebody. And if you want representation, and say, look, I have this huge project going on right now and I need someone to help me manage that or to rep me. Would you consider, and maybe then you'll get a stronger response.